Well, very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kyle Corvus Crow, joined at the metaphorical casting desk today by living legend and JV rulebook extraordinaire, Stephen Return Johnson. How are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Glad to be known for something. And yeah, we're getting into what is the final week of our regular season for the JV League here. This will be game number 7 for both Sam Houston State and for Ryerson. But we will still have one more week of action here, to a bit of a catch-up week, as it may be, for those teams who weren't able to complete their games during the season. But for these two teams, this will be their final and 7th match.
Right, and so big storyline for this particular match is it is Ryerson University out of Toronto, Canada, looking to go undefeated in their conference. That is Conference 12, of course. Sam Houston not had the same fortune, but Ryerson actually even undefeated not only in series, they have not dropped a game to a single opponent yet. So they are looking to finish strong this evening.
Exactly, and it's so important to look extremely dominant here in the early season, in the regular season, for all of JV1, because of how much is on the line this season. You have I believe it's a $10K prize pool overall in scholarships for the finals. Top 4 teams coming out of playoffs goes to our live finals in a currently undisclosed location. We're really getting ready to release that for you guys, but still a few more things in the works. But yeah, there's a lot on the line. If they can make a good statement right here, I mean, they've got the ranks, they've got the talent. They could make a run for it all.
I believe so, and so it's really just going to depend on how this school can show themselves after this phase, because this is just the preliminaries, right? This is just, you got to get out of this point to get to the real League of Legends, in a sense, for a lot of these schools. Not to say that there aren't plenty of hard-fought battles happening right here through the conference, and it is an achievement in and of itself getting out. But in essence as well, for a lot of these schools, they're just getting started.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And this is kind of the proving stage. So all of our teams are broken up into 8 to 17 conferences. So that's where the magic number of 7 weeks does come from in that regards. But even with that, you need to finish top 3 in your group, or you need to get in through what looks like our lobby kind of self-destructed there.
But happens from time to time.
Invalid tournament code. Unlucky. So, but still in the meantime, you have to get out of this group stage, so top 3, or if you're one of the 20 follow-up spots, so between all of the number 4 seeds, they pull like the best individual records, so probably the best overall set number, overall game number, and then even going further down the list to determine who fills in those 20 wildcard, or so they're so-called, spots, and then from there, it is just one big old single elimination tournament all the way towards those finals.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, very excited to see these two teams clash. Little bit of so there were 2 distinct victories for Sam Houston State over Marquette and LSU. Now with Ryerson's kind of dominant streak through this, they've also faced and beat Marquette versus LSU, and as well as some of the same opponents that were able to take games off of Sam Houston. So for this school, I think it's going to be a bit of a proving challenge at this point to try to, get the record back on track for Sam Houston. Of course, they are out of that playoff contention. Looks like it's going to be Ryerson no matter what, but it's still a statement game, right?
Yeah.
This is still a chance to play, kind of king killer in this regard, especially, hey, it's on stream. There's a lot to lose on the side of Ryerson, and so, they get that blue shell aspect going on and hopefully get to play that one out to a degree of success for themselves.
And yeah, also question really has to become, how much can you really set these guys off course or correct course once you've already hit the iceberg if you are the Titanic? But even with all that, there's nothing like ending a season on a high note, like knocking off and being kind of the dream killers of knocking off the perfect squad. So for the Sam Houston squad, they're definitely not going to go quietly into that good night, as my co-caster has dropped off just a little bit. There we go.
Crash there. A little bit of a Discord crash.
Unlucky. There we go. Got his smiling face back.
First it's the lobby, then it's the Discord.
Everything's blowing up.
All we need now is lead client, and we're 3 for 3.
Yeah, very unfortunate. As we will be getting right back into that one for you guys, but I mean, with so many teams in this conference, every week just seems to get more and more exciting. More and more is always on the line, and I mean, this is really starting to get me hyped up for those playoffs. I know we're gonna have. So we have next week, which is our catch-up week. Afterwards, we have the one additional week where we'll be taking it off. All the teams get a bit of a break, a bit of regrouping time while we do generate those brackets. And from there, it's a straight shot all the way to the finals. Or Final Four, rather.
looks to be the case. So we are trying to get this lobby put back together here. Once the final finishing touches are put on that, we are good to go. And should be hopping into picks and bans before too long here, but it is just another slight couple seconds separating us from all of the League of Legends action our hearts can handle. We do want to thank you for joining this. Going to take a quick second or two while we're in the downtime to hit a couple tidbits of information that may be important to you if you are a fan of Collegiate League of Legends and do not regularly view our broadcasts here at the CSL. If you want to get your school involved, if you want to keep up on what's going on, schedule some scrims, get a little bit more, well-rounded within the CSL and what we're doing here, Discord is a great way to do that. You can hit ! Discord in the chat to get yourselves all the information you would need. Come in, say hello, get involved in any esport. It's not just League of Legends. There are plenty of other collegiate esports, Dota, Counter-Strike, that we are involved in as well. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/CStarLeague, and for more league-specific content, twitter.com/CSLLOL, and on facebook.com/CStarLeague. But with that returned, we are finally into picks and bans. We've made it.
Yeah, finally making that on in, and this will be the last match. I believe we get to stream on the 8.3 patch, so still some things going on there, but I don't know about you guys, but I've been looking at those 8.4 notes. Mid lane, top lane, jungle, I mean, like tracker snipes getting deleted. There are so many changes that these teams are going to have to adapt to come playoff time.
No, yeah, I'm very much excited to see that because League of Legends is a living, breathing game, and it changes on the fly, and that really separates, how we view these outstanding schools from the just, average schools and the ones that can make it, the ones that fall off. And so I think we played the majority of this season. Did we start at 8.1 or 8.2?
I think we started at 8.1.
Okay, so, this being the third patch that they played on competitively, obviously the teams that have made it this far aren't exactly locked down by patch meta. So we'll see how they adapt. Should be pretty well with 8.4 coming up, but a lot of fun changes for us viewers here at home. Flying through the ban phase pretty quickly. Ilaoi, Anivia, and Alistair all taken away.
Yeah,
on the
that
side
is
of Sam Houston.
That is a very interesting, I'd have to say, ban rotation coming out of Sam Houston State, and definitely a lot more banning towards the respect ban. But with the Gangplank still on the board, it looks like Ryerson's actually going to go for the Camille. So already showing that they're not just going to stick with the hard priority meta. They're not going to stick with the best of the best picks. They're going to play what they're comfortable on.
Yeah, looks to be the case. So Camille with the lock instantaneously. Looks to be the Lovers bot lane taken away for Sam Houston. They want the Xayah and Rakan together. We'll pick that up in the first round of their draft and gladly run free with that one. So strong bot lane presence coming out. The Camille on the top side does mean that with a solo laner picked up already, potential for the bot lane to be just answered back and not give too much away on the side of Ryerson here.
Yeah, and the bot lane combo of both Xayah and Rakan is something we've been seeing a lot less as of late, but it's definitely not something to just completely pass by. Unfortunately, for something like the Rakan, there are those hard counters out there. You can go for the John, you can go for the Thresh. You just go for a counter engage, and unless their combinations are that good, it's extremely hard to get something rolling here, and especially into the Draven. If you miss that man on one of your engages, you are not getting back out.
No, it can definitely be tough. So, gonna have their work cut out for them, as we do see what Ryerson will come up next with. So, like we thought it might be, is going to be the bot lane rounded out. The Sona pickup. A little bit more of a lane bully presence there, just in the amount of harass that she can put down. Does have to be careful, because just as every bit as much harass she does put out, she does take indeed in trades. So, it's a lot of lane positioning that you have to be very focused on with Sona, but we'll see how Funner and Tavarese can play that one out in their bot lane. Skarner locked in and away. Young Bucket God's going to take that one into the jungle for Sam Houston.
This is an extremely aggressive pick coming out here for Funner on the Sona. It is a very strong pick in the current meta, but it's as strong if you can get away with it. And already with Rakan and Skarner locked in, if they're going to get behind, they are going to stay behind. Sona's one of those picks where you really need to watch the matchup, and maybe this is a little bit of Ryerson kind of calling out, saying, yeah, we're not really that scared of you guys. We're just going to style on you all across the map, but certainly if they misstep, there's a long way to fall.
Absolutely. Zoe taken off the board. Jarvan the fourth as well coming out of the bans. Zach, so a little bit of jungle pressure across the board. We have Jarvan, Zach, and Sejuani all banned away. So with Skarner, it's a pretty easy pickup there for Young Bucket Guy, but this has a lot of pressure now on what Jebton will be bringing into the jungle for the side of Ryerson.
I mean, big thing with the jungle is there's a lot more options as of late. Unlike 8.1, unlike 8.2, where it literally was just the J4 plus Sejuani show with a little bit of Kha'Zix sprinkled on top.
Well, you can't forget Nunu here.
All right, Nunu's not a champion. That he is not going to get picked up. He is. The problem with Nunu is he just doesn't fit in with the current meta. You want junglers who have some amount of impact early, who do something to affect the ganking game in these early stages, and Nunu just doesn't do anything. But I mean, if you're talking about not doing anything in style, that might be a better pick for you.
Yeah, well, the Shyvana hover, we'll see if it is what Jebton ultimately decides to go with here. I don't want to waste too much breath talking about hover, so I'm going to steer attention over towards the Shen pickup. That is what we will be seeing Jaeger take into the top lane against Fizz on that Ashe, against Camille, and the Maokai lock in. Start some heads a scratching here.
Yeah, so it could be the Camille in the jungle. It could be Maokai in the jungle. Hell, it could even be Camille going support, Sona going mid lane for all we know about at this point. But it does look like the Maokai will be locked in for that jungle position, and this is where you have to draw a few red flags. I think the Shyvana had a good idea. You have a theoretical winning mid lane. You have what should be an extremely winning bottom lane, and even some good pressure on the tops of the map, even into the Shen pick. You do have the resources to facilitate this Shyvana actually farming on up, but Maokai, that's one's a little bit lackluster, and now it's going to rely on Jebton going around, making these plays, and getting the advantages for those lanes, because Maokai, it's going to take a long time to scale up into a useful team-fighting tank.
Absolutely. So we'll see how much they can really prioritize in the early game. So it does look to be that Camille for the jungle, the Maokai for the top lane, unless they pull some last-minute switcheroos on us. So the Shen versus the Maokai is not a lane we're at all unused to seeing. This is pretty standard League of Legends. Skarner versus Camille, on the other hand, I would say is not something we get in every single day of just playing solo queue and watching collegiate and pro level play. So I'm a little bit excited to see how this one turns out. And just to see the way the jungle paths unfold early, because I think it's going to set a lot of the tone for this game.
Oh, without a doubt. And Camille is one of those jungle gankers who can make some pretty interesting paths happen. Always having the ability just to jump on over. And yeah, the Skarner plus the Camille matchup isn't one we get to see too much. I think both of them really do excel in that lockdown game. The ultimate coming out from either member. Camille with the Hextech Ultimatum, Skarner just with the pull, rather, excuse me. But the Camille definitely is going to be speccing a lot more into this damage game as opposed to Skarner, and that does leave the only tank for the squad up in that top lane. So if they're not actually able to snowball that game out early for Ryerson, they're looking at a pretty uphill mid game where Xayah's got that 2-item spike, Orianna has the 2-item spike plus the ultimate, and a fairly decent early game front line of the Skarner, of the Shen. So I like the draft a little bit more here from Sam Houston, but there's still plenty that Ryerson can get done early, and given their record, given the 7-0, given the 6-0 rather, not yet 7-0.
Not 7-0 yet. We're hoping to get there,
and
right?
Given the track record, I have faith that these guys are going to be able to do something early, but if they don't, that is where a lot of these issues start popping up.
I think I look to the bottom lane here. It's going to be on Tabarys and Funner to really start rolling that lane out pretty early as the Draven. The good news is, for all the grief we were giving their composition about, having a hard time maybe getting that launched, Draven is a great champion to do it. And so it just signifies to me that they have a lot of confidence in their bot lane here. And so we'll see how Shiny Sableye and Slagaslasha on the side of Sam Houston can really respond to that, because that would be, if I'm Sam Houston in the lane, I'm looking to shut down very early on.
Yeah, most certainly. Draven is one of those champions where he's either on or he's not, and there is no in between. He's either one shot in the back line or he's literally healing the enemy team.
Healing the enemy team.
And especially in a lane with a Sona, if that lane gets roamed on from Sam Houston, I mean, once again, you have the Shen in the top lane, Skarner in the jungle, Orianna, who theoretically, depending on how that lane actually plays out, could get the shoving advantage onto Corki, also depending on who takes the minion dematerializer, could be roaming on that bottom side, and that is an incredibly slow, immobile, well, maybe not slow, but an immobile and squishy lane. Sona is something that if you get on top of it, it's probably dead.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And with the likes of the hard CC that can come out of that Shen ultimate right around his level 6, or, possibly earlier with the teleport, if they elect to use that, the Skarner ultimate, there are a lot of options for just making sure that this bot lane does not go anywhere on you. So very much the tools at their disposal for Sam Houston. It's really just going to be a question now of execution and how they want to play it. Seems like they didn't put a lot of priority towards the bot lane. Obviously, it was their first round of the draft, just strictly in the ban phase. It was only the Alistair that they took away. Mm-hmm. So from that aspect, it may not have been something that, that can tell us they haven't gone into this with the plan of, hey, yeah, we're just going to steamroll dumpster the bot lane. But now, as it is kind of obviously the pressing option from the draft, we'll see how well they can adapt to that because they have the right champions for it.
Well, I mean, it is pretty high priority to pick up the ADC and support in the first rotation, let alone in the first pick phase. But you are correct. They didn't ban out the Varus. They didn't ban out the Twitch. They didn't ban out any of these higher, well, probably the less the Twitch, more the Tristan and the Varus as those really A tier, S tier ADCs at the moment. But they were just comfortable getting what they wanted to. Didn't think that it was going to get picked away from Ryerson in the first pick. Saw the combo, and they're going with it. So we'll actually have to see if that pays off as no matter how out of the meta, quote-unquote, it is, it's still a fact that if they can execute on that, if they can use those engages to their advantage, they're still going to be in the front foot on this one.
Absolutely. So all in all, we are going to see how this one unfolds before us as they are finally getting into the loading portion of the game, and we will be onto the Rift in just a few short seconds here. Did want to take this brief second to hit one thing I didn't get to mention when I was giving you some information. That's a big shout out to our sponsor, Twitch. Wanted to say, as always, nothing but gratitude for the largest platform in all of competitive gaming to support our collegiate esport endeavors. From our humble events like PAX East and West to many more, we wouldn't be what we are today without their continued support. So we do want to thank them, give them a shout out. Be on the lookout for anything cool they're doing on their social medias, twitter.com/Twitch, facebook.com/Twitch, twitch.tv. You're there right now. And we got to pause right as we get back into it.
Yeah, looks like a bit of a disconnect there from Young Bucket God, but hopefully he's going to be making his way on back. And I do want to see how Jebton is going to play on this early game. I have played on a team before with the Camille in the jungle main, so I have seen what it is capable of, but you could go with the early double buff plus wolves clear. Just go straight for level 3 gank with your E with the wall bang. You're usually able to pick up something on that, especially if you start on the top side of the map, work your way down towards the Draven lane. You could look for that early level 2 engage, not unlike a Jarvan would do. So a lot of options available for Jebton. Hell, he could even go for an invade, given that he's probably got the winning lanes, especially on the bottom side of the map.
Looks to be the case. So you would know that a lot better than I would. I trust your judgment there as the sort of mastermind behind the Camille jungle. That's something very foreign to me, so I'm actually really excited to see this one. I feel like Jebton's all going to be able to focus on this game. At least if he's playing well. If it's a boring farm fest out to the early beginning, then you never know. So wanted to get a quick question. I've seen this clock kind of bouncing back and forth a little bit. Have you been... doesn't matter, I guess, because we're unpaused now. The pause timer clock was bouncing all around the place. It couldn't pick a time that it was ready for, so I was wondering if that was universal or just on my screen. But it doesn't matter because we're back into the game. So 30 seconds till minions spawn. And pause all but forgotten.
Oh, Young Buckyard is still disconnected. Oh, no, but he has rejoined. So a bit of a weird queuing of statements there from the game, but...
he just forgot to say Simon Says.
Yeah, of course. Sam Houston going to be mostly defending on the bot side of the jungle. That would allow Jebton to go get aggressive ward, but doesn't really want to risk it. It probably doesn't have the stronger early side of the top of the map. You've got Fizz on the Maokai, not exactly going to be doing uber damage in those first few levels, so far I'm going to play it pretty darn safe.
Well, that does tend to be a little bit lock, stock, and barrel for all of our collegiate league games that we do watch. Doesn't matter if it's JV, varsity, or what. No one's got the aggressive rundowns early on these days anymore, and who can blame them? They don't want to just throw away the game right at level 1 if something goes wrong, because at the beginning of... sometimes you find a pick, sometimes you lose 3 members in the enemy jungle, and your entire game's offset, so... no huge surprises there. Biggest things to note are the jungler starts. Young Bucket God going to be taking that blue away. No surprises there. And the safe red side start coming out, or I'm sorry, the blue as well for Jebton. And so both junglers are going to be starting on opposing sides of the map, likely going to lead to different areas when they're trying to possibly get off those level 3 ganks. And so not a lot of collision course aspects happening just off the rip.
This is actually a pretty interesting clear. So the two options I said before was either the buff to wolves to buff or even the buff to gank. He's actually going for a full clear of the tops of the maps of Jebton. might be a lot more prioritized on just hitting that level 6, maybe looking for delayed counter invade onto that enemy bottom side of the map. But no, he's actually just going to go to Gromp, so a bit of a head scratcher for me as to exactly which route he's going, but may also just be using that to throw off Young Bucket. If he went for the invade now, saw Gromp was gone, he'd probably assume full clear going on, but we'll have to see what he actually does with that. Is that will definitely slow his clear time by a considerable amount.
Yeah, just going to give up a lot of priority there, so we'll see if he can take that, turn it into anything large and in charge, as the lanes are just falling into that rhythmic pace of the trading. Is going to be Tatteries and Funner pushing out pretty hard in this bot lane, so it's going to keep Shiny Sableye and Slogoslasha a little bit on the back foot there. It makes it a little hard for Jebton to come in and make anything happen, and with an Ocean Drake early, this is one of those that, you know, a lot of people don't prioritize very hard in the early game, and so just going to mean that limited play around the bot side overall, outside of the context of just the lane, which doesn't seem to be a problem anyway, because look at the health bar of Shiny Sableye. It's not going well thus far.
No, and that's actually why you're going to see more movement around this bot side. Is already so much pressure not only being applied from Fun, but because of the way Jebton started on the top side, not because he went up to the Gromp though, he has control of the bottom side, and Young Buck and God finishing his route, finishing his level 3 up on the top side of the map means that there is no assistance now for Shiny, for Slogga, for the next few minutes, and that's going to be up to Ryerson to actually benefit off that, to really exacerbate that lead in. So far, they're doing a pretty good job. Not too far behind yet for Shiny, but any depths that they get into right now is only going to be getting deeper and deeper as we go on across, and some good counter jungling also from Jebton is really going to hurt Young if he even wants to assist this bot side.
Yeah, very much so. Did come in and take away some of those smaller camps. I guess actually the only smaller camp on the bottom side of the map. Well, I guess the Wolves technically count as the bottom side of the map, so a little bit of a loose definition, keeping things moving there. But either way, Jebton taking away some of the jungle from Young Bucket God, going to offset that and keep him just moving in the right direction. Now, the first back already did come out from Young Bucket God. Jebton going to be pulling that one off right about now. Should stay relatively even. But yeah, look, Bucket God just came down, realized what's happened, on the move back already, and going to be forced to just take away his wolf camp here.
Yeah, most certainly. And before level 6, there's not really much reason for Young Buck and God to go bot lane. Sure, he can appear, but that is still a Sona and a Draven, and if your bot lane is already playing so far back, you're not going to be able to 2v3. You're going to lose the 2v3, actually. So bot lane's kind of just got to weather the storm at this point. So much aggression and not really confident enough counter pick coming in here. Would have liked to see Slogga try the poking a little bit more, try the engage a little bit more in those early levels, but it's just looking brutal already. And even on the mid lane, decent CS leads coming out for every single member. Yeah, top lane, jungle, every member for Ryerson. I was going to propel them to a pretty comfortable 600. Not quite the K mark yet, but 600 gold lead.
It seems to me that the guys of Sam Houston right now are really just playing for level 6. I think that's when they're going to feel like their composition's coming a little bit more online, with the Stand United coming out of Shen, with the Impale coming out of Skarner. And that might be when they look to kind of make that play again. The guess is that it'll be around bot lane. But the issue with that is that they have double teleports to worry about from Fizz on that Ashe and Pal. So anything they do try in the bot lane can very quickly and easily be countered up, and we might have a big old brawl on our hands. So they're going to have to pick this fight carefully if they are stalling for that level 6. And if they're not, it just feels like they're biding their time for not much at all.
Well, I mean, when you look at the composition, you can very clearly see that there is a 2-item spike going across the board on the mid lane, on the Xayah. You want to hit that point because when you're being put behind on this, you only want to fight when you have the tangible advantage. And once they got that, they need to make it work. And I mean, so far, really good play coming out of the Ryerson squad to just exacerbate this early game lead so unbelievably hard. Jebton not even having to gank. I don't think he's actually showed up in a lane just yet, and already all of his lanes are still pulling near 10, 20 CS advantages if you look at the bot side as well. And
yeah,
this is just incredibly good macro play coming out of Ryerson, and even on top of that, so much fear coming out of Sam Houston right now that they're just unable to play forward in any of these lanes.
They are playing very passively, not having the lane advantage and falling behind way farther than you do want to early, and anyone would consider acceptable. Now, in the bot lane, itemization-wise, it's really only to the tune of boots against the Draven matchup with the Xayah. But even that makes such a huge difference, especially when the ganking stage comes in. We do have a roam coming in from Funner as Paul Sama wants to get onto Demon Wolfie, but he'll just be happy to take half the health away from his lane counterpart there, and we'll keep the secret of Funner well preserved. No one really... I think he did step on a ward, so they saw him happen there. So the roam a little bit foiled there, but could have been bad for Demon Wolfie.
Yeah, Jepson, though, he's going to be going aggressive. He has the mid lane priority. He's going to keep going.
Yeah, no, Young Bucket got in a little bit of trouble here, halfway down already in a flash, but it's seemingly to nowhere, and his health bar is getting low. That's the 2 shields coming to stand united. The shockwave doesn't connect, and now Jaeger is finding an empty scene. Fizz on that Ashe, going to throw out the ultimate as well, but it's not going to do too much. Probably just very passive Nature's Grasp, make sure everyone gets out okay. Not going to be too worried, and they will all back off, but the advantage does go over to Ryerson. Young Bucket God having a flash out, burning the Orianna flash as well from Demon Wolfie, the Shockwave to stand united. That's a lot to happen for just the flash of a Jepson.
Exactly, and burning those big abilities is going to allow the side of Ryerson to actually facilitate some of these earlier game plays. I mean, you hit on it a little bit before, but the big thing... Oh, don't forget about that. There's Jepson.
Yeah, this is a problem. Demon Wolfie burned his flash in the last fight, can't get out. So Jepson taking first blood out and away easily. Pal gets the assist credit. And that's all she wrote for the mid laner of Sam Houston State.
I mean, give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And with the flash gone from mid lane, there's absolutely nothing keeping Demon Wolfie alive, or even safe for that matter, on that mid portion of the map. And this is a matchup where he should be doing, maybe not smashingly, but he should have the advantage. You have better auto attacks in the early game, at least until the Sheen comes up for the Corki. And this is just this consistent idea of just fear. It doesn't matter what you draft if you are too scared to play it.
There is the taunt coming through. Fizz on that Ashe in a lot of trouble. Not getting out of this one okay. Young Bucket God takes the kill. So each jungler from each team has now taken away a solo laner's life. But the advantage still seems very much to me in the hands of Ryerson from this one. Jebton getting a kill feels a lot more significant than Young Bucket God as well. Pal getting that mid lane priority over Demon Wolfie just to stretch that a little further. Feels like it's going to mean a lot now. Potential build up around the dragon. We'll see if this unfolds into anything, because it does look like Ryerson want to take this Ocean Drake away. I doubt they'll be contested.
Their bot lane's not even in lane. Even if they were, there's so much priority on the bottom portion of this map.
Demon Wolfie, still no flash. What are you doing there? Is it worth your life for the potential steal? Shockwaves himself. Pops a barrier too, because why not? And that one's going to come out for Pal. Takes a kill out and away over his lane opponent. That time a lot of help. And he's going to feel pretty good about that one. Not the cleanest idea from Demon Wolfie to challenge that one.
Teleport available for Fizz.
Yeah, we'll see if he comes into this one or not. There's a lot of tension building around this bot side. I believe the members of Sam Houston are wise enough to back away and know when their tower is lost here. But still, 3.5k gold lead now over to the hands of Ryerson. And things aren't looking so great if you are Sam Houston.
No, most certainly not. The hero play there from Demon Wolfie, giving over the second kill of the match on just an already fairly impossible play to make, is not going to be boding well for these guys. You're still giving more gold over to Pal, who will be scaling up fairly heavily on the Corki, and it's just delaying your own spikes in comparison to the others. And this is the real issue you have with some of the less experienced teams playing the scaling style composition. It doesn't matter if you get to that late point if the enemy has such a great CS lead. Like, for example, for Sam Houston, they want to hit 2 items. If you hit 2 items, but your opponent's already at 3, 4, 5, it doesn't matter that you hit your spike, and you really need to, if not get ahead, you need to stay competitive. And right now, they're just not finding that stride. Huge CS deficits now in every single lane on this map, at least 10 except for the mid lane. And especially if they get this next tower, there might not be much left in Sam Houston's actual arsenal to get anything done here.
No, you don't want to just be giving up these towers for free, and it seems like Ryerson are not being punished on their aggressive moves. They took the dragon away with no contest, except for, well, I don't want to say no contest, Demon Wolfie did try something, but, they took the dragon away in a situation in which it was quite accessible for them. They took the bot lane tower away, basically for free, and now they're looking to try to just set up to make the same thing happen top. I don't think Slasha and Jaeger can hold this one. They might try, but all in all, it's just going to be dangerous and just going to keep things moving into the hands of Taverys and Funner here. So got to be careful with how they do decide to play this one out, as Jebton is in as well. Jaeger's health bar not the highest. Will they dive for this one? It looks like they want Funner to kick it all off. There's a crescendo. Beautifully timed. And the rampage coming out. Taverys on that Draven. Gonna get his first kill of the game, and the CS lead about 40 to his hands. With the tower going down, this guy's swimming in gold.
Yeah, and they're not done just yet. That was a fairly decent member going on over, and Demon Wolfie is already showing on the bot side of the map when Fizz on Ashe has the teleport advantage as well, but Funner's got to be careful here.
Yeah, he wants to find the stun up. Gonna get it on to himself there. Young Buck finds it on to Funner, that is. So now gonna pull out the teleport from Fizz on that Ashe. Gonna make the side of Sam Houston back away. They don't want to worry about that. But look at this. Ryerson's just putting on a clinic in their enemy's jungle, taking away everything, leaving the vision, harassing the enemy champions, and they are just making life hell for Sam Houston right this moment.
Yeah, they also have the rotational advantage on the mid lane, but it doesn't look like they're going to follow up on that just yet. Jebton hanging out in the wings, but will be caught out by a ward. Should keep Demon Wolfie safe for now, but to go back on a point you made a little bit ago, it's not even the fact that they're not able to fight the the squad coming out of Ryerson now. It's that they're trying to fight too much. You're always going to be at a disadvantage. You pick that scaling style comp. If you don't pick the Draven solo lane and the enemy team does, you have to admit, you have to understand, you are going to lose something in that matchup, but it's the concept of gracefully losing. Giving over what you know you can't defend, like that dragon, like that bot tower after that play, and giving away so little that you're still able to scale up. And it takes a lot of discipline to play. It takes a lot of time to actually work yourself up to that point. But right now, just a little bit too much damage to the economy, to just the overall team for Ryerson. They're looking to be pretty strong coming up in this scaling. Definitely the pinnacle left for the squad of Sam Houston would have to be that ADC. Right now, Shiny's not even on the first item, but he's staying semi-competitive on the CS. Sure, he's 30 CS down, but when you compare that to the rest of the team at that point, it's decently competitive. But he still is going to hit that spike at some point, and he's going to need to pop off.
Young
That did nothing.
In a little bit of trouble. There are a lot of members of Ryerson right here on the stand. United comes down, but not even going to channel in time. Jebton finds his second kill of the match. Ryerson University will find their third turret of this match, almost certainly, as the minion wave is absolutely ushering that one on through with the help of 4 champions. Actually, Draven, the only one not getting in on the credit for that one. He's just looking for the blood as he flashes in. Wants Saga Slasha. That is going to be flashed over the wall. Not flashed over the wall, just maneuvered by the ever so slippery Rakan. So we'll get out of that one in one piece. But you can't say the same for the base. Pal wants in. He's going to keep the damage coming down. And things are not going well right now for Sam Houston State. Ryerson are taking objectives at will. And Jaeger, the entire time without the stand, United split pushing this bot lane. He hopes to find the only turret thus far for the side of Sam Houston State.
Yeah, but this might be traded back and forth for that Herald. And given how much pressure that Ryerson's had this entire game, that Herald could very easily have an inhibitor's name on it, and I would not put it past the squad to just break open the base within the next few minutes here. Though a little bit more response from the Sam Houston squad is going to stay in Ryerson's hands, but they're engaging hard.
On in, yeah, they're coming for Funner. Funner is obviously the weakest member of this team, but a good crescendo keeps Demon Wolfie right off of him. So despite the squishy health bar, Funner, with the flash and ultimate mechanics at his disposal, will not be denied his exit there. Stays alive and in good shape, meaning that Fizz on that Ashe, still the only member of Ryerson to have died thus far.
Yeah, they're holding on for now, and that was a good little point of life, that showing that the Sam Houston squad, they have the combination play. They could make something happen, but the bar to entry for that play is so unbelievably high. Like, the only fight I could see going in favor for Sam Houston would be a 5-man combo with Slaga on the Rakan, 5-man combo with the Orianna Shockwave, 5-man like Featherstorm, Recall, Root Up, plus like a 5-man then on top of that taunt. And if any part of that doesn't land, you just don't have enough. And there are so many things for Ryerson to actually respond with right now. You always got to think, are their minds just going to game number 2 at this point?
Well, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. All that needs to happen is Ryerson needs to clump up in one space, not move around too much, and not use too many abilities, and the game is right back in Sam Houston State's hands. In the meantime, another Ocean Drake gone down now, so that will set up a nice sustained game for the players of Ryerson, as they do still have that Rift Herald ready to pop. Funner, we'll see if he can get out of 2 sticky situations. Does indeed. Jaeger potentially had the taunt there, but did not connect right on the edge of that one, and will mean Funner's out A-OK. I doubt too much aggression going to be building around this bot side, as it looks like they just want to reset with their bot lane. So my mistake, actually. The Rift Herald never did go down. I assumed that one was taken out in a way that's just going to be taken right here and now. Obviously, that was the push off when Shiny Sableye and Saga Slasha did come in prior. Now they're going to try to find it again, actually. We'll see if they can continue disrupting this one for the side of Ryerson.
But that is a very fed Draven on the bot side that you have to respond to in some way, shape, or form. And the only person who can TP is already in the matchup with them. So Ryerson, they're doing a good job at splitting the map open right now, but there's going to be some response coming out of Sam Houston. Otherwise, they are just standing to lose everything.
Right, the mechanical play has been good from both sides, more so Ryerson, but it's their macro play that stands out, and oh no, Jaeger having to break that stop. Watch out, the ultimate flashed out of immediately, so not going to get the kill over to Draven there. Tavares will be denied that one. Trying to find the second one, though, under tower. Saga Slasha so low, but just out by the skin of his teeth. Doesn't matter, because this bot lane from Ryerson is content to stay here all day long. They've knocked down 2 health bars of their opposing team. They're going to find the tower here. The Rift Herald goes down as well, and Ryerson just making this look so damn easy.
Yeah, not just Ryerson winning out on every portion of this map, and when the enemy team is too scared to contest you at anything or responds to you in force, like when they had 2 people bot lane, they sent 2 people bot as well, and instead of trying to trade objectives around, it is so easy to get that snowball rolling. A little bit interesting here on the build from Tav is we do see some variation in the Draven build. Sometimes you go for the early Bloodthirster, sometimes you go for, I've even seen Lethality been built on Draven if you really want to get snowballing early, but Tav, good guy Tav, looking for a little bit more scaling, wants to hit that crit, so he'll be ripping through people, needs a little bit more time before he's in Uber Draven form, but yeah, he's extremely outperforming his opponent right now on Shiny, who is just hitting that first item.
Yeah, just the first item at 19.5 minutes. Not going to feel too good. Still trying to stay, seemingly relevant in the CS is still the biggest deficit thus far in the game, but all things considered, 30 CS is not going to be game-breaking. The kill's going to do a lot to stretch that as well, and it's really the tower gold that is making such a big gold advantage over here just in this bottom lane alone. It's 8,500 roughly onto the side of Ryerson's AD carry, and over for the side of Sam Houston just now getting to that 6,000 mark. So pretty big 2,500 gold difference there. And as Baron spawning, that extra item is going to make all the difference for Tavares here to try to get in and make this one pretty quick, because they've reverted now back to Fizz on that Ashe with the teleport coming in to just round up and split push in the bot lane. There's only one more outer tower remaining. It's in the top lane. That's where their strong side is pushing. It's their bot lane, and their jungler Jebton really just making the moves there. And really, it's just been Jaeger defending up there. Jaeger, and he's definitely not strong enough. We saw just Draven alone was able to handle him under tower.
Cyrus got the ball.
The rest of the members of Sam Houston want to come in. They're going to try to find it. The Shockwave going to do some damage, but so negligible. Tavares doing so much on the back line. Young Bucket God tries to find him, but he is all alone in this endeavor. Can't keep him CC'd. That means double kill coming down, and Jaeger's in some trouble now. Will be the triple. It's all just a matter of credit, and it does go over to Draven. 3 kills down. The split push still in effect. Fizz on that Ashe channeled the teleport, but didn't follow through with it. Is still sitting on that bot lane, and things are going from bad to worse for Sam Houston here, as they're knocking on the door of their base now.
Sam Houston needed to do something right there, but unfortunately, it looked like the Orianna Shockwave actually helped more than it hindered. It moved Draven a little bit back away from the fight, away from the backline, and I don't even think it damaged him, to be completely honest. It looked like his HP bar actually went up.
Summoning Herald. They are just now summoning the Rift Herald.
It was like 21 minutes in.
Oh, I know. It's just so much of the base has been destroyed. It's going to be tower going down again. Now the inhibitor. That's going to be the stopwatch used. Bucket God is in some trouble. Actually flashed out from Jebton. Doesn't care too much to keep this one going. Fun are going to be rounding up the side of things just to keep it all safe. And the fight will be breaking out. This is the last defensive stand from Sam Houston. Can they do it? What a root up! Are you kidding me? Fizz on that Ashe on the backline. Sets things up. Takes the kill for himself. Another one goes down to Pal. Shiny Sableye trying to get out of this one, but the flash will mean double kill coming out, as the members of Ryerson will all want to get their names on the board here. Fizz on that Ashe takes it away. Shelly still doing her part. The Rift Herald on the last tower of the game will finally go down. Just like the members of Sam Houston State, they have been destroyed in 22 minutes they fall. And Ryerson goes up 1-0 in this series with a definitive first game.
Oh yeah, there was absolutely no priority at any point in that match for the side of Sam Houston. They've got to find some lane, somewhere, some matchup that they can get some advantage, because that game they played the scaling just a little bit, wanted to wait for those 2 items, but by the time they were coming online, and I'm honestly not even sure if, I have to check back at that match results, but yeah, no, Shiny never hit 2 items. And when you can't even hit that point, you gotta find some way to just elongate that game.
Yeah, gonna be a pretty rough one. So Sam Houston State definitely gonna have a lot to talk over these next couple minutes as they decide what they're gonna try to bring to the table for this second game, because a loss like that is often very hard to bounce back from mentally, especially in a best-of-3 series where it is just now 1 game between them and the end of the season potentially. Ryerson has it all on the line here. Can they go undefeated? Looks like they're on a pretty good track, but we'll find out. We're going to give the players some time to adjust, figure out what changes they need to make to carry on to the next game strong. And we're going to take a quick break, so don't go anywhere. Don't touch that browser. We'll be back in just a few short minutes with game number 2 between Ryerson and Sam Houston State.
Again. Again. Once again.